Is Mohamed Salah about to leave Liverpool? The January transfer window is heating up as fresh reports link the Egyptian king with a shock move, with Salah returning at Anfield against Brighton. What does this mean for his future under Arne Slot? Plus, big updates on Trent Alexander-Arnold amid Real Madrid warnings, a major yen Diomande transfer boost, and why Liverpool's transfer strategy could make them Europe's most exciting team. Stay tuned. This one is huge. And don't forget to hit subscribe for daily Liverpool updates. Is Mohamed Salah leaving Liverpool? January transfer latest as Egypt star returns at Anfield versus Brighton. Mohamed Salah is undoubtedly one of the greatest players in Liverpool's modern era and a true Premier League Hall of Famer. And yet, he and the Reds could be about to go through a particularly bitter divorce. Salah's explosive interview after Liverpool drew with Leeds United in December 2025, in which he accused the club and head coach Arne Slot of making him a scapegoat for the team's poor form, has made a departure from Anfield feel almost inevitable. He even suggested he will use the game with Brighton and Hove Albion as an opportunity to say goodbye to the fans before he joins up with the Egypt squad for the Africa Cup of Nations. Still, Salah only signed a new contract in April this year, and the future of Slot also appears uncertain. So there is no absolute guarantee he will be moved on. The Sporting News looks at the latest. Is Mohamed Salah leaving Liverpool? Following his remarkable interview on December 6th, it certainly seems possible that Salah will leave Liverpool in the January transfer window. The player suggested that the Premier League game against Brighton and Hove Albion at Anfield on December 13th could be his last, and that he had told his family to come to see his goodbye to the fans. He was named on the bench for the fixture. There is no guarantee he will leave, of course. Last year, Salah told the media that he was more out than at Liverpool amid protracted negotiations over a new contract, which eventually ended with him signing a new deal. Things feel a bit different this time, though. Salah was omitted from the squad for Liverpool's 1-0 win at Inter Milan in the Champions League on December 9th. We let him know that he's not traveling with us, so that was the only communication that there's been from us to him, Slot said at his pre-match press conference. Of course, before Saturday, the two of us have spoken a lot. Sometimes longer, sometimes shorter. That's not the way I feel. That relationship is broken down. But he has the right to feel how he feels things. I haven't felt that at all. Until Saturday evening, for sure. When I didn't play him, usually players don't like the manager that much. But he was very respectful to my staff, to his teammates, and he trained really hard. So, to an extent, it was a surprise to me when I heard after the game that he gave the comments that he gave. As I said, it's not the first time and won't be the last time that when a player doesn't play, that he says something similar to what he did. My reaction to that is also clear. He isn't here tonight. Slot was also asked whether Salah had played his last game for Liverpool. He replied, "I have no clue. I cannot answer that question at this moment in time." On December 12th, as per the Times and several other outlets, it was reported Salah would be part of the Liverpool squad to face Brighton in the Premier League on December 13th following face-to-face talks with Slot. The forward was duly named on the bench. Salah came off the bench in the first half for the injured Joe Gomez and was greeted with a very positive reception by the Anfield crowd. Mohamed Salah January transfer latest. It had been speculated prior to Salah's outburst that a January transfer was possible. The iPaper's Peter Hall had previously reported that clubs in Saudi Arabia were considering making an offer in the January window. Now, it seems highly likely that the wealthy Pro League will try to sign Salah early in 2026. The Times reported prior to the Brighton game that there are still issues to iron and talks will take place between Salah's agent Rami Abbas and the Liverpool hierarchy when the player is away on Africa Cup of Nations duty. Omar Mugharbal, the chief executive of the Saudi Pro League, was quoted as saying by BBC Sport on December 10th, "Mohamed Salah is welcome in the Saudi League, but it is the clubs that are responsible for negotiating with players. For sure Salah is one of them, a target. The Pro League, whose top teams are bankrolled by the wealthy Saudi Public Investment Fund, PIF, has long been rumored to be eager to bring Salah to the country. Liverpool were reported to have rejected a bid of £150 million, $190 million per exchange rates at the time, in September 2023, and they would certainly have made another approach during the summer of 2025 had Salah not signed a new contract. If a deal could be struck with Liverpool, the player would almost certainly go to one of the four biggest and best-funded clubs in the league: Al Ahly, Al Ittihad Al Hilal, or Al Nassr. It seems unlikely that Al Nassr would sign Salah, given they already have Cristiano Ronaldo, but cannot be ruled out. However, it has been suggested that Al Hilal would be Salah's most likely destination. Liverpool sold Darwin Núñez to the Riyadh-based club in August 2025 for around £46 million, $61 million. What did Mohamed Salah say? Interview after Leeds draw. The speculation around Salah's future went into overdrive after his extraordinary comments following Liverpool's 3-3 draw at Leeds United on December 6. The forward, who had been benched for the third league game running, told the media that "It seems like the club has thrown me under the bus," and that he was being scapegoated for the Reds' poor performances. Salah also accused the club of breaking promises made when he agreed a new contract, said, "It seems to me that someone doesn't want me in the club," and claimed his relationship with Slot had broken. Mohamed Salah contract, salary. Salah signed a new 2-year contract with Liverpool in April 2025. The deal expires at the end of the 2026-27 season. According to Capology, Salah's wages are approximately £500,000, $655,000, per week before tax, putting his salary at £26 million, $34 million per year. According to estimates, he could earn up to 7 times that amount should he move to Saudi Arabia. After signing the deal, he said, "It's great. I had my best years here. I played 8 years. Hopefully it's going to be 10. Enjoying my life here. Enjoying my football. I had the best years of my career. I would like to say to the fans, I am very, very happy to be here. I signed here because I believe we can win a lot of big trophies together. Keep supporting us and we'll give it our best. And hopefully in the future, we're going to win more trophies." When did Mohamed Salah join Liverpool? Salah joined Liverpool in June 2017 from Italian side Roma. Liverpool handed Diomande transfer boost, as rivals told to avoid move Liverpool have been credited with an interest in RB Leipzig, star Diomande, but they could face competition from the likes Bayern Munich as they mull over a summer move. Bayern Munich have been told to avoid signing Liverpool target Diomande ahead of a scramble for the winger's signature. The Ivorian, 19, has enjoyed a brilliant debut season for RB Leipzig this term. He has scored 9 goals and provided 6 assists in 24 appearances in all competitions since his arrival from Leganés. And that has seen a number of clubs, including Liverpool and Bayern Munich, sit up and take notice. But legendary former midfielder Lothar Matthäus is not convinced and does not believe Bayern should make a move. Speaking to Bild, he said, "It's said that Leipzig would only be willing to negotiate for Diomande if an offer €100 million arrives. For a player who can't get past Diaz right now, that's too expensive. Bayern can save that money." Instead, he has suggested an alternative for the reigning German giants. Matthäus added, "I've heard Bayern are interested in Hoffenheim's Bazumina Touré. That kind of signing would make sense to me. Touré has shown at TSG that he has potential. He could develop behind Luis Diaz and be built for the future. Away from Bayern, Diomande has also been linked with Liverpool, with it being suggested that he has ambitions of playing at Anfield one day. Speaking recently, he has clarified his previous comments about the Reds. He said, "People made it out to be my dream club, but first and foremost, it's my dad's favorite club. It was always his great wish to see me play there someday, because he loves the atmosphere at Anfield. He always raved about Steven Gerrard that I was too young to see him play. We didn't even have a TV at home for a long time. I have a lot of respect for Liverpool, but my dream club right now is Leipzig." Diomande has also confirmed that while he has spoken with former Liverpool boss Jurgen Klopp, the German currently working for Red Bull, the pair have not discussed a future switch to Liverpool. He added, "No, not that, but we talk every now and then. He tells me to stay humble and keep working hard. It was always my dream to play on one of his teams. That's not quite possible now. But being so close to him now, talking to him, shaking his hand, it's incredible. He's a legend. Sometimes I feel like I'm in a movie." Curtis Jones becomes number 11 to prove Liverpool have a dress problem Arne Slot couldn't deny. Curtis Jones became the 11th different Liverpool player to score in the past 5 weeks after accusation of dull and boring football. Liverpool supporters knew it. Their players must surely have felt something similar. And even Arne Slot couldn't really find any argument with his assertion. I find it really hard to hear, but it's not that I completely disagree, said the Reds boss on being asked about the accusation his team had become dull and boring as they attempted to recover from their horrors of 9 defeats in 12 games during the autumn. I want to win as many trophies as I can, but I think I'm also known for the fact that my teams always try to play attacking football and can only say that we are trying to do so. That was ahead of the goalless draw at runaway Premier League leaders Arsenal that, while more than deserved given Hugo Ekitike had joined the lengthy absentee list, underlined the problem facing Slot in making the necessary step from his team being hard to beat to capable of beating any opposition. Now, less than 5 weeks on, the landscape has changed significantly. The blank stalemate at the Emirates meant Liverpool had scored only 21 goals in 17 games. Since then, though, the Reds have 25-9, having seen off Brighton 3-0 in their FA Cup fourth-round clash at Anfield on Saturday evening. True, the opposition, most notably Barnsley in the previous FA Cup round and Qarabag in the Champions League, haven't always been stellar. But dismissing such obviously inferior opposition is a shortcoming that has left Liverpool outside the top four rather than being firmly in control of their Premier League destiny. What will enthuse Slot perhaps the most is that players from all parts of the pitch have been chipping in. Curtis Jones, playing it right back, became the 11th to score during the recent period when bagging the opener against Brighton. Dominic Szoboszlai and Hugo Ekitike have 5 each, with Florian Wirtz on 3, Virgil van Dijk, Alexis Mac Allister, and Mohamed Salah all netting 2, while Jeremy Frimpong, Cody Gakpo, Federico Chiesa, and Ibrahim Konate have 1 apiece. An own goal has also been forced, while Rio Nguma wrongly had a strike disallowed at the weekend. In the last 9 games, Liverpool are averaging 20 shots a game with 6 on target. In the previous 9, it was 14 shots per match with less than 4 on target, although a significant caveat is 6 out of the last 9 games have been at home compared to the previous run of only 4 from 9. If you look at the last 5, 6, 7, 8 games, for me at least it's clear to see progression we've made, says Slot. That progression is mainly physical. We are much more able now to play 3 games in 7 or 8 days, which we struggled with a lot in the first part of the season. It's safe to say if you play so many games that you have to win. That's why so many teams have so big squads. We have a bit of a different model, and we've been very unlucky with long-term injuries. That's why it's constantly on the same 13 to 14 players, and you need to take care of them. And a way of taking care of them is to give them a bit of a rest. They will have a few days off now, but we will have enough time to prepare us in the best possible way for Nottingham Forest next Sunday. It's helped that Liverpool have kept clean sheets in 4 of the last 7 games, with a shutout ensured on Saturday by an important Alisson Becker save just before halftime to prevent Brighton's Diego Gomez from equalizing. Alisson had been a surprise starter, given his last FA Cup appearance had been more than 2 years earlier, with Georgi Mamardashvili between the sticks for the 4-1 win over Barnsley in the 3rd round, but it was maybe a sign of Slot realizing the competition is now a realistic route to silverware after the disappointing Premier League title defense. Indeed, compare his starting lineup to the one for the shock 4th-round loss at Plymouth Argyle the previous season that prompted claims the Reds' boss disrespected the competition. Rafael Benitez faced similar jibes in 2004-05 and responded by guiding Liverpool to the trophy the following season. Slot will hope for a bit of history, repeating this time around. Why Liverpool's transfer strategy will make them the most exciting team in Europe. Their results have been disappointing this season, but Liverpool are putting together one of the most exciting squads in Europe. After winning the Premier League at the first time of asking, many supporters felt that Arne Slot would once again lead the Reds into a title race this season, but that hasn't happened. A battle for a top 4 finish now looks a lot more likely for Liverpool, but the foundations have been set for the squad to become a true dynasty. Last summer saw the arrivals of Florian Wirtz and Alexander-Arnold, who both arrived for British record transfer fees, but Slot's side aren't done rebuilding yet, and their strategy is clear to see that Liverpool's transfer strategy explained. Although the arrival of Michael Edwards and Richard Hughes marked the start of a new post-Jurgen Klopp era at Anfield, the transfer strategy on display last summer actually dates back to Klopp's tenure. IT has always been clear that the objective at Liverpool was to bring in young, first-team-ready players that could develop into superstars. Mohamed Salah and Dominik Szoboszlai are perfect examples. Last summer showed the club really meant business, though, with the ownership authorizing a spend of over £400 million to bring in some truly world-class talent. Isak arrived as a ready-made superstar. He is Premier League proven and already established as one of the world's best in his position. But the rest of Liverpool's acquisitions were different. Wirtz, Hugo Ekitike, Milos Kerkez, and some extent Giovanni Leone were all arguably the biggest young talents in their position last summer. The club has switched focuses slightly from high potential, good value signings to try and sign the very best young talent, even if that means paying a premium. Wirtz is the obvious example, costing over £100 million. But Jeremy Xhaka is another prime example. Liverpool looking to build the most exciting team in Europe. With a deal already agreed for Xhaka to join in the summer, it seems likely that Liverpool are going to continue down the path they started last summer, assuming they qualify for the Champions League. Several of their current reported targets fit the bill, with Keys Smith and Matthias Mayne both heavily linked with Merseyside moves. The pair are two of the most sought-after young midfielders in Europe, and there seems to be a good chance that one or both end up at Liverpool this summer. Diomande has also been constantly touted as a potential replacement for Salah, should the Egyptian king leave, and the 19-year-old has become potentially the most sought-after teenager in world football this season. Liverpool are doing everything they can to attract the very best young talent in every position, and it is setting them up to become an absolute force in English and European football for the next decade. Once everything comes together at Anfield, supporters should expect a lot more silverware to be added to the trophy cabinet. Trent Alexander-Arnold sent message over a Real Madrid role after transfer warning. Trent Alexander-Arnold left Liverpool in 2025 to join Real Madrid, but he has struggled for consistency so far in Spain thanks to mixed form and a couple of injuries. Former Liverpool defender Trent Alexander-Arnold made his first start under new head coach Alvaro Arbeloa this weekend as Real Madrid beat Real Sociedad by 4 goals to 1. Los Blancos moved ahead of Barcelona and in the top spot in La Liga. The Hansi Flick side plays Girona later today and could retake the lead with a victory. Alexander-Arnold played an hour and set up Gonzalo Garcia's opener after 5 minutes that I can't say I'm surprised. Arbeloa said via beIN Sports. He is a very intelligent boy who understands the game very well and quickly understands what we want from him. He is not the typical fullback who will always be wide, but he can also play inside. For us, we are lucky to have a player like that. Having Gonzalo in the area, he can look for crossing situations. He's a great player. I'm not going to discover him now. I'm happy that he continues to get more minutes, get into a rhythm, and find the best version of himself. So far this season, Alexander-Arnold has only started 6 La Liga games due to a mixture of inconsistent form and several injury issues that have kept him sidelined. Earlier this week, the Spanish outlet Defensa Central reported that AS Roma's Wesley Franca is being lined up to come in and play right back for Real Madrid next season. While it wouldn't be to replace Alexander-Arnold, it would be to succeed Dani Carvajal. Franca could add some extra competition in the same position. Carvajal is said to be unhappy with a more limited role in the team, and his contract is set to expire in the summer. He was left out of the Real Madrid matchday squad recently as it took on Valencia. I don't need to explain the importance of Dani, Arbeloa said after that game. He's the one who always has something to say before and after matches. It's very important for the players to have a reference like him in the dressing room, and I'm sure he's going to find his best form. With the patience and effort we're putting in and his dedication, I'm confident that he's getting closer to regaining his relevance. Liverpool.com says, Alexander-Arnold will be a success in Spain. It's been a slowish start for him, but his ability level is high enough for him to do well there. Once his fitness returns to normal, his quality is unquestionable.